Patrick's Day parade rescind their invitation to gay groups. Why they say they were lied to.
Protecting 26.2 miles for runners and spectators. The security changes you will see and won't see. An exclusive insight from former Police Commissioner Ed Davis.
Craving some good weather news? Well, some milder air is on the way. We'll take a look at the outlook as we head toward the end of this week.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 6 starts right now.
Marching on without gay groups, the organizers of the South Boston St. Patrick's Day Parade hold their invitation.
The ban on openly gay marchers will stand because parade organizers say they were misled. I'm David Wade in for Jack Williams.
And I'm Lisa Hughes. This new conflict has reopened some old wounds. Ken McLeod is live along the parade route for us tonight in South Boston. And Ken, just yesterday, it looked like they were close to a deal here.
And yet this morning, Lisa, it apparently all went up in smoke. That's when parade organizers insisted the gay rights group that is seeking to march here was actually trying to pull a self-promotional fast one. Along the parade route, we found head-scratching.
It's a parade. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what you are. You know? Who's to decide who should march and who shouldn't?
Actually, it's the Allied war veterans who decide. And when the mayor intervened, the organizers accepted a bid to march by 20 gay veterans, as long as they obeyed the rules banning any overt display of sexual orientation.
I just don't understand why they can't just all get along and share the street.
But today, the organizers reversed course, saying in a statement, "We were misled by LGBT Veterans for Equality," indicating the application was a ploy by them to enter this parade under false pretenses and is hereby denied. Organizers say the would-be marchers, A, are not veterans, and B, insist on banners, signs, and T-shirts touting the gay lifestyle.
Making sure that LGBT people can identify themselves as LGBT people as they march down the parade route.
Now that overtly gay marchers are out, the small Catholic school which pulled the plug on its float and marching band yesterday is back in.
When I brought it to the students, they applauded, and we're delighted to be back in the parade. Our hats off to the war veterans, and I think they're really to be commended for their stand.
Meantime, some folks on West Broadway believe it's a generational thing, with younger folks seeking inclusion and older folks clinging to tradition.
Seems like, come on, it's the 21st century. You should be able to get over it and get over your differences and, you know, just have a freaking parade.
The mayor's last public statement on this indicates he is still hopeful of brokering a deal. However, at this point, he's got some really tough hoops to jump through. Live in Southie tonight, Ken McLeod, WBZ News. David, back to you.
All right, Ken, appreciate it. Thank you. Tonight we have some good news about the weather. It is going to get warmer. The bad news, warmer is still going to be pretty cold. Chief Meteorologist Eric Fisher joins us now. And Eric, I guess we should throw up the air quotes when we say warmer.
Hey, perception is reality. If it feels warmer, it is warmer outside, right? And I think it will feel better later this week. David, by the way, nice to see you this evening. We've got some snow showers that are coming down across the northeast. A lot of them are drying up before they reach the ground, though. So maybe a flurry or two tonight. Temperatures, well, here's where that warmer comes in. It's not sub-zero tonight. It's teens to around 20 degrees. Another very cold one for sure, but at least we're not going to be threatening any records around the area. It has been awfully cold, and we know this. Hours and hours below 32 degrees. There's a little break Saturday into Sunday. We're back below 32, and I think the streak goes for a couple more days, and then we will snap it, and we should stay more where we should be for this time of year. We'll talk about the timeline for that and some snowflakes tomorrow. Coming up. Lisa?
All right, thanks, Eric. Now at 6 o'clock, securing the Boston Marathon, the changes for runners and spectators, and exclusive analysis from the newest member of the WBZ team, former Boston Police Commissioner Ed Davis. Safe to say, the whole world is going to be watching this first Boston Marathon since the historic race became a target for terrorism.
And if you think about it, police have a tough task. They're pulling out all the stops to keep everyone safe, but at the same time, they want to preserve the spirit of the storied race.
You know, we want Patriots Day to be actually what it's all about. You know, having freedom to move around, enjoying the day.
Boston Police Commissioner William Evans was one of the first commanders on scene when 2 bombs exploded at the finish line last year, something he never wants to see again.
Last year, they bombed our city. They bombed, you know, probably the most special day for the city of Boston. It's personal for all of us for what they did, and that's why this year we want to make it bigger and better so life gets back to normal in the city of Boston.
The changes will start in Hopkinton. No backpacks for the runners, and no bandits jumping into the race.
You're going to see a new policy where anyone who doesn't have an official bib number is going to be subject to being pulled off the course.
On the race route from Hopkinton to Boston, there will be metal barriers to try to keep crowds on sidewalks, and runners and spectators everywhere will be watched. Brookline has some of the biggest crowds on race day.
As you can see here, we have cameras that we purchased through Homeland Security money.
The town has eyes on its busiest intersections, but most of them are not pointed at the race. That will change.
In addition, we're going to hang some quick deploy cameras to cover the blind spots and the actual race route as far as where the runners will be.
Now, we did reach out to the FBI, which would not go into specifics on its role on Marathon Monday, but the agency's terrorism task force will be ready to respond to any possible threat.
And now a WBZ exclusive, the newest member of our WBZ team is former Boston Police Commissioner Ed Davis. We're pleased to have him with us as our security analyst tonight. And Ed, if we can, let's just start right off talking about what we are going to see. How much greater is the police presence going to be at the marathon this year?
Well, Lisa, last year we had 864 Boston police officers assigned to the route, just under 2 miles that it comes through Boston. You'll see substantially more than that, simply because they're doing things like taking the bandits off the course and increasing the attention to things like strollers and other things. It's going to take a lot of officers.
And Ed, let's try to paint a picture if we can. Say you're headed down to the finish line on Marathon Monday. What should people expect as far as points, searches?
Well, it's clear that there will be increased surveillance and increased officers in the crowd. They're talking about shutting down Newbury Street to traffic, so that's going to increase the difficulty in getting around the city. But I think that if people use the transit resources, the MBTA, and just think about what has been cautioned, they'll have a fine time getting around.
We saw much tighter security, for example, at the 4th of July. Is this just our new reality? Does security get tighter from here on out?
Well, I think it does in the first few years after an incident like this happening. People are testing the waters. They're checking to see what we can do and what we can't do as far as tightening down the restrictions. There'll be a give and take there. People will like some things and they won't like other things. So I'm sure that the people from the BAA and the police are going back and forth about that right now.
And Ed, you know, we spoke with Commissioner Evans, who has run the race himself 18 times, so he knows how special this race is. One of the things he really stressed is that they still want this to be the same event it always was. That has to be a tough balancing act.
It is, and it requires not only looking at the number of resources, but what those officers are instructed to do. And really, you have to go into a community policing mode in this event. You have to make sure that the officers who are out there are interacting with the crowds and getting to talk to people. And I think that's a really important component of this.
Well, it is great to have you with us. Thank you so much. Really look forward to working with you. Ed Davis is going to be joining us in the coming weeks, and he's going to have much more insight into the preparations for the marathon, what we can expect on that day. And we hope that you'll join us on race day for live coverage of this historic event. WBZ, so proud to be your official marathon station, and for all of us, we can't wait for Monday, April 21st.
No question. Well, tonight the Pentagon says there is no reason to worry about the fact that Russia test-fired a missile today. The Pentagon says that that test had been planned for weeks. Meantime, Russia has pulled its forces away from the Ukrainian border, but Vladimir Putin said today he will not hesitate to use troops if he believes Ukraine is descending into anarchy. Secretary of State John Kerry did visit Kiev today. He stopped at the spot where protesters were killed and delivered a package worth $1 billion in aid. If you have plans to be in Boston tomorrow night, you should know that President Obama will be in the city as well. The president is flying into Logan around 4 o'clock. He has events planned for Cambridge and South Boston, so expect traffic troubles in those areas right in the middle of the evening commute.
And coming up here on WBZ News, reluctantly moving forward, the state takes the first steps toward paying for a convicted killer's sex change.
Also ahead, a rogue chemist crimes who is now sharing the blame for the scandal that put tens of thousands of criminal cases in jeopardy.
A lot of us looking forward to a little bit of spring in the forecast. In fact, there is some, at least a little bit. We'll talk about the timing for all of that coming up in just a few minutes.
I will defeat it. It will not defeat me.
I never thought I was different. It was never really concerned with me. It's like, this is who I am, and you do the best with what you got. There's obstacles in life, there's obstacles on this course. It's how you deal with them and how you're able to overcome that defines a person.
Honey, your dorm was so cute. But well, I gotta run. Oh yeah, Dad and I miss you so much. It's quiet around here without you. Well, we've been catching up on some sleep, eating up all those leftovers, and just trying to relax a little. Love you too. Bye, honey. No, I didn't tell her. I want her to know we're having this much fun at the Daniel Webster Inn without her.
A man pioneers a way to see the unseen. Radar. Forever providing safer journeys. The Mazda 6 uses radar in its available class-exclusive suite of 7 safety features for greater confidence behind the wheel. Introducing the Mazda 6. What do you drive? Now, get the 2014 Mazda 6 with Skyactiv technology for 0.9% APR for 60 months.
Commerce Bank, where we're offering all the products and services of the largest financial institutions with the personal attention only a community bank can provide.
I've been in banking all of my life, and I'm proud of the great team of professional, knowledgeable bankers that I've been able to assemble here at Commerce Bank. They are true professionals. I would like to invite you to meet with one of them at any of our convenient Commerce Bank offices.
Commerce Bank, with locations throughout Massachusetts.
Let me tell you a secret about the mattress business. You can put a fabric on any mattress and make it look beautiful. You'll never really know what's inside, and you won't know what you're paying for. It might even feel good at first, but it won't last. A good mattress is really about what you can't see. That's why at Jordan's and nowhere else, we'll not only tell you, we'll show you what's inside every mattress we carry, so you can touch it and feel it. It's important to us, and it should be important to you. At Jordan's, there are no secrets.
Hear that? That's your vacation calling. It's time for the annual AAA Travel Marketplace with vacations to fit your style and budget. Everyone's going to be there, including AAA travel counselors, to help you find and book your next dream vacation. You deserve a vacation. AAA Travel Marketplace is open to everyone, and parking is free. See you March 7th and 9th at Gillette Stadium, Putnam Club East.
She lied about results at a state crime lab for a decade and put tens of thousands of criminal convictions in doubt. But tonight, a new report says Annie Ducon isn't the only one to blame for what happened.
Now, the report stresses that Ducon did act alone, but as Christina Hager shows us, there was plenty of incompetence which allowed her crimes to go uncaught for years.
We do wrestle with the backlog every day.
The State Police Crime Lab in Sudbury inherited the load this Jamaica Plain lab used to handle. It was shut down because of the test-tampering chemist, Annie Ducon. Her admitted fraud has called more than 40,000 cases into question. Police vow it could not happen here.
We recognize that we can't get it wrong.
This is the third step in the testing process, and these infrared machines determine the types of substances in a sample and how potent they are. This tour,
by her own admission,
hours after the State Inspector General announced the findings of his investigation into the Ducon case, saying she was the sole bad actor in an environment with management failures, that chemist training was wholly inadequate, and that an additional 2,000 plus samples now have to be retested.
Other chemists in the lab repeatedly complained to superiors about Ducon. Those complaints fell on deaf ears.
He called out John Auerbach, who resigned as Commissioner of Public Health, which oversaw Ducon's lab, and the governor stepped up.
Look, I'm responsible, right? I'm the governor.
He says the state has spent $18 million so far dealing with the fallout. Hundreds of defendants have walked free. The Inspector General now recommends keeping drug testing in state police labs like this. More accountability. In Sudbury, Christina Hager, WBZ News.
They certainly don't like it, but state officials are now taking steps to pay for a convicted murderer's sex change. A federal judge has ordered Massachusetts to pay for Robert Koselek's surgery. While the state is appealing, the Department of Corrections now says it is working with a surgeon out of state who is willing to perform the operation. The surgeon will have to get a medical license in Massachusetts first. The state's appeal will be heard in May.
turn down this time of the year, right? Where you just have more cold in the forecast. But this is a dark shot. It's Fenway Park. You can see the skyline of Boston right here. Well, 1 month from today, the home opener at Fenway Park, April 4th. And in fact, just 5 days from now, by Sunday, it'll still be bright on that skyline at this time. Something to look forward to. We're looking for those silver linings in the forecast. Today's high in Boston, just 30 degrees. The low 12, well below average, but nowhere near any records. That's been the story this winter around here. You know, we've seen some cold, we've seen some snow. Nowhere really near the record books, especially compared to what we've seen off to the west. It's just been the persistence of the cold. A lot of 20s on the map out there this evening. Pittsfield down to 19, so there are some teams already starting to show up. A couple of systems we're watching, a couple of weak waves that are moving through the Great Lakes and the Northern Plains, and then down toward the Gulf. You know, today is Mardi Gras. It's another one of those signposts of springtime. Look at the current weather in New Orleans. 40 degrees. It was down in the 30s for a time. Rain coming down. There are even some sleet pellets north of New Orleans earlier on today. I'm sure they're going to O'Brien's. They're getting a hurricane. Maybe they don't feel the cold too much, but not exactly what we'd expect for a trip there. And around here at home, some clouds, a few cirrus moving overhead, and a couple snowflakes that are mainly evaporating before they reach the surface. So tonight, a few flurries possible, back in the teens. No sub-zero numbers compared to what we saw last night, so that should be a welcome change. Then tomorrow morning, it will be a chilly start, lots of clouds. We'll also be looking at the snow showers starting to pick up. As we head toward midday in the afternoon, it's hit or miss. They'll be scattered about. I think the best chance is the Berkshires and the Worcester Hills. And as we head toward the evening, you notice the snowflakes really across Cape Cod and the islands. The wind will be turning off the water. The air just above our heads by a few thousand feet, very cold. The ocean's around 40 degrees, and that separation will create some snow showers and really keep the clouds around through much of Thursday there in the Cape and Islands as well. Snow totals, not a huge deal, but snow in the air, a coating to as much as an inch possible, again, especially the higher terrain, and then more toward the evening and into the overnight, a coating to an inch here, especially Plymouth County, the South Shore, Boston, and down toward the Cape and the Islands. That's mainly with the ocean effect part of all this. Here are the winds responsible for afternoon, gusting over 20, and with temperatures in the 20s, it's going to be awfully cold tomorrow evening. And as we head through the evening hours, that wind starts to turn a little bit more northerly, coming down across the Cape and the Islands. So a cold and at times snowy night. Now we look toward the end of this week. Another storm to watch, this one coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. And a lot of moisture with this, but a big area of high pressure here is going to block this from working its way up toward the north. At the same time, a cold front to the west, we call that the kicker, you know, like a football John Madden kind of setup. And that's going to be pushing all this off toward the east, and so we shouldn't be looking at any major impact from that. Not a lot of temperatures to creep up a little bit. Here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds, grayer toward the south coast and the Cape, brighter in the interior. Friday, mid-30s, not bad. Okay, getting a little bit better. That storm to the south. Saturday, 40s. A lot of long runs out there for Boston Marathon preps. Looking great. We spring forward Saturday night into Sunday, and next week, low 40s. So more 40s than 30s on the 7-day forecast. Now that's in quite a while. Jack? Not Jack. Lisa, back to you.
We're all family, Eric. Thank you.
I'll take that. No problem whatsoever. Appreciate it, Eric. Thank you.
Not all Bruins games are created equal, and tonight this is one we want to win.
Tim Thomas in town here, our old friend. And the trade deadline bringing a little bit of awkwardness for our old
Yes, it is awkward. It's going to be very awkward for Tim Thomas because he has a new teammate. We'll see how they get along. Bruins host Tim Thomas and the Florida Panthers at the Garden tonight. The team will honor 10 local Olympians before the game. This morning, Bruins head coach Claude Julien said Louis Eriksson has a minor issue and will not play tonight. And that's raising a few eyebrows with the NHL trade deadline looming. Now, with Eriksson out, Jordan Caron will take his spot in the lineup. He's only played in 3 games since the start of January, none since January 27th. Maybe it's Caron who the Bees are trying to showcase in a potential trade. The trade deadline is 3 o'clock tomorrow. And how about this for a trade? Today, the Panthers made a deal with the Canucks for goalie Roberto Luongo. Remember, in 2011 Stanley Cup Finals, Luongo was upset with Tim Thomas for not giving him enough compliments or pumping his tires. Well, now they're teammates. Now, this should be fun, right? All right, here's the latest on Jake Peavy, who cut his left index finger with a fishing knife over the weekend. Sox pitcher played long toss today, but had someone else catching the ball for him. We'll throw a bullpen session tomorrow. Sox and Rays in Fort Myers today. Clay Buchholz, making his first start of the spring. He only went 1 inning, gave up 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, had 1 strikeout. Not much else went right for the Sox, though, as they were shut out. Well, this hurts a little bit, 8-zip. Celtics news. The team announced, as expected, Joe Wallace had knee and ankle surgery this morning and will be out for the season. He still under contract for 2 more years at $10 million a season. And meanwhile, the team practiced in Waltham this morning. The Green have 22 games left in the season, and while a lot of you would like to see them go into full tank mode to get a better spot in the lottery, that's not how Brad Stevens operates.
Your DNA should be to play the next game as well as you possibly can. And, you know, again, I talked about it earlier, you let your circumstances control your thoughts, and you're probably not going to be good in the long run anyways. So we've got to just, you know, continue to have the right attitude, continue to compete. I thought we made strides in the last 2 games, and hopefully we can build upon that.
A lot of talk last week about the mask LeBron James has been wearing on the court. They're nothing compared to the mask Jeff Green and Kelly Olynyk had on today, taking part in the Celtics Read to Achieve event with kids from King's School in Dorchester. They helped put on a play called Chicken Big.
Yeah, you get to dress up, you know. I'm a chicken.
I'll pop the biggest on this chick.
And we're just having fun. This is their time to interact with us, to see us off the court, so we're just going to enjoy this moment. I am the rooster. Anytime you put a smile on a kid's face, or, you know, just get them excited about, you know, learning, being at school, having fun, you know, you've done something that not everyone can do.
And you know, it's nice to see Celtics players and pro athletes giving back to the community, and that's what these guys are doing.
And to be able to laugh at
Right, the
themselves,
kids
too,
respond
right?
to that so well.
Exactly.
And quickly, Jake Peavy.
Jake Peavy.
himself with the fishing knife. How long is this going to be?
Well, hopefully just a few days, but here's the thing, he cut through part of his tendon.
Yikes.
So, yeah.
So this could take a while.
Hopefully not. He's saying he's going to be back on the field pretty soon, but it was a deep cut.
And he has stitches in the whole thing.
Stitches in the whole thing.
All right. Steve, thank you so much.
You got it.
Appreciate it.
Well, cleared for takeoff, the $100 million construction project underway at Logan Airport.
CBS Tonight. A person of interest revelation.
There's no more time. You have to do something.
Before Mr. Reese,
Relax, bitch. I'm here.
there was someone else.
Detective of innocent.
See how one partnership ends. Mr. Dillinger, what are you doing?
You don't like the way I do things, you're more than welcome to come get dirty in the trenches.
And another begins. Who do you work for?
Oh, dear.
A new person of interest of CBS Tonight. Catch up online or on demand.
Seasons change, and so do styles. What never changes is the untouchable value at My Bob's Discount Furniture.
Dresser, mirror, and queen bed with footboard storage.
No foundation required. All you need is a mattress.
Nightstand with hidden storage.
All 7 pieces, only $9.99.
Need a chest? You got it.
All 8 pieces, only $11.99.
An espresso or honey finish.
Thanks to you, My Bob's is 50 stores strong and growing stronger every day.
Local 103 is always looking for opportunities to give back to the community, to reinvest in the community.
IBEW Local 103 stepping up and providing the funding for 9 fun centers will impact the lives of thousands of children in the New England area.
It offers the children an experience that's going to make him happy, that's going to make him smile.
It's very rewarding to be able to give something back to such a great end user of our services.
The Traction Challenge is on. The all-wheel drive Toyota Venza versus the worst winter driving surface AMCI testing can create. Ice. Traction test number 1, front wheels on ice. Traction test 2, rear wheels on ice. Now, all 4 wheels taking on 50 feet of ice. Result, Venza 3, ice 0. The winter-ready all-wheel drive Toyota Venza. Proof it's possible to have utility and style.
Today we're showing real people Xfinity Internet.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about your internet. You want to tell me a little bit about that? It's kind of slow.
I bet we can have all 3 of these guys on their devices and download our favorite HD show.
You're going to be impressed. Xfinity delivers the fastest in-home Wi-Fi. Look how fast it is.
So, flipping fast.
How does this compare to your current provider?
Not as good as this.
We're done.
Get the speed to power all your devices. Upgrade to Xfinity Internet for $29.99 a month for a whole year. See for yourself. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
You deserve more. At Plymouth Rock Assurance, we believe in giving you more. More than what you might expect from a typical insurance company. Receive a claim check on the spot from our Crash Busters team, which can come directly to you. You're busy. With our door-to-door valet claim service, you can get your car repaired without interrupting your busy day. How about a free one-time cab ride when you feel it would be unsafe to drive? Ask your local independent agent how you can get more. More than just insurance. Plymouth Rock Assurance.
CBS Evening News is coming up next at 6:30.
Scott Pelley joins us now live from New York with the preview. Scott.
David, Lisa, great to be with you in Boston. We're going to start the broadcast with the superpower crisis. The Russians today launched an intercontinental ballistic missile. They launched it away from Ukraine, where the crisis is occurring, but the timing was remarkable. David Martin will report on that, and we'll have Elizabeth Palmer in Crimea, where the Russian invasion is ongoing. All of that for you on the CBS Evening News in about 10 minutes.
All right, Scott, look forward to seeing you. Thank you. A new project is taking off at Logan Airport. Massport is spending $100 million to improve Terminal E, which handles international flights and is one of the busiest at the airport. Massport will install new passport kiosks to try to speed up the customs process. It'll also build a new connector directly to Terminal C. The 2-year-long project will start in July.
Voters are going to the polls today in Boston. They're deciding who fills Marty Walsh's seat in the State House of Representatives. There are 5 Democrats on the ballot, no Republicans. Voters are also picking a state senator to replace Catherine Clark, who was elected to Congress. And Mitt Romney says he won't run for president again, but many New Hampshire voters apparently wish he would. A poll of Republicans in the Granite State finds Romney is the favorite among the field of GOP contenders. Rand Paul and Chris Christie finished second and third.
Well, he inspired so many and will never be forgotten.
Coming up next, classmates come up with a special tribute to Foxborough teenager Sam Burns.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Harlem Globetrotters, playing at TD Garden on Saturday, March 29th and Sunday, March 30th. Purchase tickets at the box office or online at Ticketmaster.com.
Good afternoon, everybody. As promised, the flakes flying.
When winter weather hits New England,
Another snowstorm. This one could bring a half foot.
WBZ Chief Meteorologist Eric Fisher covers it like no one else.
Even out in the mobile AccuWeather lab, this is where we're going to be seeing most of the snow stack up. Let's talk about some of the storm headlines. This is the real deal. The conditions are just right in the atmosphere. We've got about 3.5 to 4 inches on the ground here. And as we head through the night, that mix line starts to move in.
Join Eric Fisher and go wherever the weather takes him. Weeknights on WBZ News.
American-owned, family-operated. Since 1829, no bull, just lager. From America's oldest brewery, Yingling.
Life is full of surprises, some good, some not so good. Don't get caught by surprise. Ask an independent agent about safety insurance enhanced coverage for auto, home, and business. Safety insurance will help you manage life's storms.
Sleepy's one-day mattress sale is tomorrow. Preview the sale today and save up to 75% off select Sealy, Serta, and Beauty Rest mattresses. With Serta Queen mattress sets starting as low as $2.99. Only at Sleepy's, the mattress professionals.
Nova Scotia. Discover what it's like to truly let yourself go. To travel on a whim across thousands of miles of unspoiled seacoast, lined with beaches waiting to be explored. Dive into some of the warmest ocean waters north of the Carolinas. Encounter friendly seaside towns full of life, but free from all the crowds. Spend afternoons savoring vineyards so beautiful they make other wine regions blush. Chart a course through sparkling waters and meet an ocean full of friends waiting to say hello. Then come alive with the night and find a rhythm that's happy to play as late as you are. Discover a vacation experience where the only thing you'll want more of is time. Freedom is a place, and it's here, Nova Scotia. Take yourself there.
Based on a real car insurance claim. Really.
I was just sitting there in my little car, and a street sweeper started sweeping me down the street.
AAA can't control who or what's on the road with you, but we can promise you fast, personal service and a smart approach to car insurance that can save you a whole lot of money. Really.
You gotta be kidding me, right?
How much can you save? Get a quote from AAA today.
In a crowd of light beers, how long does it take to find the Yingling Light Lager? About that long. 99 calories, 100% authentic lager. Yingling Light Lager. Rethink your light beer.
A Framingham family will say thank you this weekend to the first responders who helped after a barn collapsed. You may remember these pictures. Last month, the barn on the Eastleigh farm collapsed under the weight of ice and snow, and it trapped a number of cows inside. They were able to save all but 2. The Eastleigh family just invited members of the Framingham Police and Fire Departments and the Department of Public Works to come visit the surviving cows and tour the farm. Classmates have now come up with a wonderful way to pay tribute to a wonderful guy, Sam Burns of Foxborough.
The 17-year-old inspired so many people in his battle with progeria. Sam died in January, and last night Foxborough High School students presented a request to the school committee. They wanted to name the high school's new field for Sam. And guess what? The request passed unanimously. The new field is expected to open in the fall.
And you know, that's a tribute that he would have loved. So.
Absolutely. He loved sports. That was like his thing, so it's great.
Huge fan.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit. In the break, we were asking about the warm-up. Anything we get is going to be real gradual.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a slow slope, which is a good thing. I know a lot of us are wishing, boy, we're just getting the 60s and 70s already, but if it gets that warm really fast, you've got the melting snow and then the flood concerns. And we don't have that in the 7-day, that's for sure. Slowly warming up the next couple of days on the cold side, but we've got some 40s Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And so that will begin a slow melts. That is a great recipe to lead into spring.
And as you said, a great weekend for the runners who are training for the marathon. It's another gift.
Saturdays have been great. I mean, most of the weeks have been brutal, but Saturdays are a long run day for a lot of people training, and it's worked out very well this weekend again.
I was talking to a runner yesterday who said he plans on doing 20 miles this weekend, so it's getting up there.
Right?
Nice to have some good temperatures.
These are the last 4 big weeks.
Yeah.
Hey, get this, 10 local Olympians going to drop the puck tonight at the Garden. So that should be pretty cool.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Steve, thank you so much. Eric, thank you so much.
Great to have you here tonight.
It's nice being here, I gotta say. Thank you for watching WBZ News at 6. Our next newscast is tonight at 10 on our sister station, My TV 38.